Hello, welcome to Finding Joy Live. I am so happy to be here with Jonathan Troen. I'll tell you, he is doing incredible work and I cannot wait to hear about it. He really focuses on self love, right? So we're really tuning in today to get to that joy. Welcome, Jonathan.
Oh, Donna Lynn, thank you so much for having me here. I'm so excited for this.
Yeah, me too. I have been so fortunate recently to get introduced to Jonathan on a project that he's doing, which is about self love. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that later. But before we do, tell me just a little bit, and our audience a little bit, about what do you do? What's going on?
Look, I spent 20 years in the entertainment business and I was living the life of my dreams. I was interviewing the biggest stars in the world, Madonna and Cher and the Who and the Ramones and, big bands, small bands. And I discovered that I did everything they told me to, like carve out the life that you want and create it. And I did that. I lived 3 blocks from the beach. I could see the sunset out my window and I wasn't happy. And I'm going, now don't get me wrong, I had joyous times. I mean, it was fun being in those interviews and working with all these great people. But inside, I wasn't happy. I still had all these voices in my head that were telling me, not enough, still not enough. It didn't matter what kind of successes I had, okay, I'm not happy. What do I need to do? And I'd set this goal and I'd achieve it. I'm not going to say I've achieved every goal, but I would achieve a lot. I achieved it. And then I'd be excited. And then I'm going, okay, not enough, still not enough. You got to do better. You got to do more. And look at what all those other people are doing. And finally, I'm like, what is wrong with me? Literally, what's wrong with me? So I quit the entertainment business because it wasn't making me happy. And I thought it was supposed to. It's what I wanted to do my whole life. It's all I ever did my whole life. Like I started in radio at 17 years old. It is literally all I did. And so I just quit and I go, oh my God, what is wrong with me? What am I going to do for the rest of my life? And I went on this journey to figure out what was wrong with me. And I made the biggest discovery of my life. Well, I made two discoveries actually. I don't know if two discoveries. One was I was not alone. That there were a lot of people in Hollywood, this land of dreams, that were making a lot of money. I call that paper success, but were not actually happy inside. And the second thing I learned was there was nothing wrong with me. I'm like, what? Nothing's wrong with me? I was fine just the way I was. I realized all I had to do was start accepting me as I was, because I spent my life trying to be other people. Like, how do I get more like that person and that producer or, all this kind of stuff. And, you have to be different and do better. And, I was postponing, like many of us, happiness forever until then. So then I discovered that there was nothing wrong with me. I discovered the single most important missing ingredient to success, and that's self-love. And when we have self-love, it's like life just changes and you enjoy every day and you enjoy who you are and the relationships that you have.
Yeah, incredible. I love that you're talking about the theater, of course, because that is my background as well. So I went to performing arts school and became a sound designer and went to Broadway and did all these things. And I had such a similar experience to yours in terms of the arc of my happiness, that there were shiny moments along the way, right? There were these moments that were playful or fun or joyous, but that there was no underlying fulfillment and true happiness. This place where you could be at peace with yourself and say, yeah, this is what feeling good feels like. This is what success, when I saw it up there on the billboard, that's what I thought it was going to feel like. That's what it feels like now. But it's you're constantly chasing it, right? Never ending chase. And so I love that you're talking about that. And I absolutely had a similar experience where when I got to what I felt like was the top of my profession, right? I wanted to work on Broadway. It's all I wanted to do I was 16 when I wanted to be sound designer. I was 18 when I got on Broadway. I was like, okay, this is how you do it. Let's do it. I kept educating myself, right? I kept working. And I felt like that. I felt like, not just when am I going to be happy, but when is this going to be happy? When
Yeah.
are the people around me going to be not chasing after the next competitive achievement?
It's this chase. We've been taught this equation from when we were very young, and the equation goes like this: work hard. If you work hard for long enough, you'll be successful. If you're successful for long enough, then you'll be happy. So it's like we've been taught to postpone success. Now, that is the definition of the midlife crisis. Or, of course, these days it's the quarter life crisis, right? Because we do as we're told. We work hard, we become successful. Well, some work hard and don't get there. So it's like, well, what did I do wrong? What's wrong with me? Nothing. But a lot of people do get successful and they climb that ladder and everything's going right. And they're going, well, how am I VP and still not happy? Well, let me go buy a convertible and that will make me happy. And of course, that doesn't either. We have manufactured the midlife crisis by teaching this equation of work hard, be successful, and one day you'll be happy. And all we need to do is reverse the equation. Be happy
Yeah.
now. When you're
Yeah.
happy now, you are successful, because isn't that why you're working so damn hard in the first place? And
Yeah.
once you're happy and successful, well, now it's easy to show up and do the hard work and show up for people and to help people and do the things that you were put on this planet to do. So then the only question is, okay, well, how do I be happy now? And they didn't teach you this in school, because they taught you that everyone around there is your competitor and you got to figure out how to get one up on them. So how to be happy now? Well, it took me a long time to figure this out, years of trying all the pieces. And then it was simple. Just being kind to yourself, practicing self-love and self-compassion. And the magic of this is, see, we spend so much time trying to get other people to like us, right? So we put on these costumes and, we do our hair and get the clothes and get the house and get the car and the purses and shoes, all this kind of stuff, right? So that other people will like us, give us compliments. And when they do, when they say, hey, Jonathan, good job today, we feel good about ourselves. What self-love does is it bypasses the middle person. We tell ourselves we're good enough. Then we feel good about ourselves. And the magic happens that because you're doing that already, all those people that you were trying to get to like you, well, they're just automatically attracted to you, because you send off a different energy, a different vibration, some people will call it. And they're attracted to that, not the person that's looking for compliments, but the person who just kind of walks into the room with this air of comfort and air of confidence, and people want to be around that person. And that's what self-love offers you. Get rid of the middle person. Tell yourself
Yeah.
you're great, because you are.
Yeah, it's an inside job. I love that. That's really great. It's great. And I think you're absolutely right that there is a fear that we have societally, right? Throughout, a lot of people have it, that if we say we're good, if we feel good, even though we didn't achieve X, Y, and Z, then we won't have any interest in achieving the thing, right? And so then society will break. And it's so the opposite, right? The
Yeah.
what happens is when there's that inner fulfillment is that you go like, how could I be of service? How could I participate with the world? How can I lift up somebody else's experience? And then then you can really go like a skyrocket. I love that. You're
Yeah,
talking
I
about
mean,
that. And
yeah,
no, go
think of
ahead,
it
go
this way.
ahead.
Do you work better when you're happy or when you're sad? Like, I still have difficult times in those days that I'm not feeling it. It's hard to work. But when I'm happy, it's easy to show up and work. And so many people, they're like, yeah, I want to do that, but I'm just not feeling it yet. Um, and okay, well, are you gonna wait till you feel it, or you can get yourself to feel it. You're waiting for the world outside of you to change so that you are happy, and then you want to contribute. No, contribute now. The world's waiting for you. The world is waiting for you to show up and connect with people and to help people. Okay. That's why you were put on this planet. Hard to do when you're sad, easier to do, really easy when you're happy. So this is just a quick fix. And and I want to add, self-love is a skill. It's I call it a skill because it can be practiced, and the more you practice, the better you get at it, right? So, because I said it's a simple fix. It is. It's simple, not always easy. But if you practice like piano, practice the piano, first day you suck, but then you practice and then you get better and better and better. And a year later, you're playing, Beethoven's For Elise, right? Same with self-love. First day might be hard, but do it every day. In a year, you're going to really want to hang out with you. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. You brought up a really interesting point about how community is involved in this, right? That when we love ourselves, we have something to give to the community. And that when we find that love inside, it's really much, much easier to find the people who are talking about this topic, right? The people who are in their nuanced ways getting at this topic, which is how do we be happy? How do we really enjoy the life that we have? And how does that help us to take off like a rocket? So you are all about community. I have an inkling. So I'd love to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. Here's the thing, and I'm even considering changing the name, and I don't know what it is yet, so I'm still sticking with self-love. But people think then, it's this isolation thing that it then becomes all about you. But the truth is, the purpose of it is to enhance your relationships. It enhances everything. It enhances your health, right? I interviewed someone, it was a few years ago, and she, before I met her, she was a very overweight person. As she shares it, and when she was a kid, she got sent, not my words, she got sent to fat camp. I hate that term, but that's how she described it. And she shared, eventually she found a way to self-love, and that's when she lost weight. She said, I did all the diets, I did all this stuff. When I started accepting myself as I am, that's when the weight fell away. It will change your health for you. Then you have more energy. So it changes your relationships. It changes every single relationship you have. It changes your work relationships too, which then changes your bank account, right? You're struggling to get all this money. Well, your whole relationship with money begins to change as well. When you have a lot of money, you feel good about it, because a lot of people with a lot of money still aren't feeling good. We read about some of them, like Anthony Bourdain and people like that, who sadly take their own lives, not because of lack of money. It's something else. So you have a lot of money, you're going to enjoy it. And if you don't, you still get to enjoy it, because even with the money trail, it's up and down sometimes, and that's okay, right? I mean, Elon Musk will lose $1 billion in a day. It goes up and down. So really, why do we do this? When we're kinder to ourselves, we're kinder to other people. And then together, this creates a whole new world we live in. Because, man, it is just so divisive right now. Just so divisive. And people can't even talk to each other anymore. People don't need to think like you for you to be able to talk to them. And when you're kind to yourself, it opens the door to kindness to others. Forgiveness is one of the pillars of self-love. When we can forgive ourselves, we are more forgiving than of others. It's like, oh yeah, I kind of made that mistake too one day, right? I love this analogy is driving in a car, right? When someone cuts us off, we get really pissed off at them, right? But when you cut someone off, which you have, and that person behind
nobody
you
should be mad.
like, what the hell? Sorry, I made a mistake. Why are you beating me? Well, yesterday you were the one flipping the bird to that person that cut you off. So when we can realize that, oh yeah, I do these things too, we can have compassion for that person that either is having a bad day, maybe they're racing to pick up their kid from school because they're behind schedule, or maybe they got to take someone, to the doctors. Maybe they're just having a difficult time. We can begin to step back and offer compassion. When your flight's delayed, you don't have to scream at the person behind the counter, because it's not their fault and they can't fix it anyway. So let's just offer some kindness to them because they're having a crappy day. It's hard to do that when we're pissed off. When I'm pissed off, I want you to be pissed off because I don't like to be pissed off alone. So let me ruin your day, right? And you ever hear of misery loves company?
Mm.
Well, self love and compassion, they love company too. They're like viruses. And this is a virus we have to start spreading through the world.
Nice. Beautiful. That's really beautiful. Yeah, it really does bring to mind this. So my father passed away quite a while ago, and before he did, he was ill, and he was in a position where they didn't think he was coming back, and but all of his kids got along around in the room, and we were kind of talking to him, and maybe 20 minutes later he woke up, and he said to us, uh, my boat was on the rocks, but then I felt the tide rising with the sound of your voice. And for me, this was pivotal. It was pivotal, of course, in that moment because I love my father and all of that. And it was a beautiful moment, but it was also pivotal on the way that I see the world. And this concepts that you were talking about earlier about competitiveness, about how do we get ahead, about how do we get what we need, right? How do we function in the world? I was taught everything the opposite of that. I was taught don't add your voice to people, right? Create your uniqueness, or definitely compete against the people who are sort of in that same vein. And from that moment forward, I had this real knowing that as we spread this love, as we foster this love inside of us and we nurture it and then we spread it, something magical happens, right? Something really, really different happens. And I feel like you're doing that with your summit. And first of all, I'm really amazed to be a part of it. But also, I really want people to know about it because all boats can rise that way, right?
Yeah, and that's what that what this summit is about, and why I put these people together. And I had my experience of learning about self love, and the difficulties that I went through, and I share those. But we have people like John Gray, right? One of the most important relationship teachers of all time. He wrote Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. He's a part of the summit, sharing his learnings in his journey. We have Brooke Burke, who, funnily enough, I worked with 20 plus years ago in the entertainment world. I produced one of her shows. So we reconnected on this. And she realized, and she hosted Dancing with the Stars for 8 seasons, but she realized that wasn't the complete fulfillment that she needed. So she shares her story, and the transformations she had to make to realize true happiness. We have Sharon Lecter, who was one of the co-authors of Rich Dad Poor Dad, right? Bill Walsh, one of the top 30 business coaches of in the world today. And you go to his workshops, which are amazing, and you're going there to learn how to make more money, to be clear. But what he ends up talking about is how do we serve other people? Because of course, the more people you serve, the more money you make, right? So we have to kind of, again, reverse the equations. People are like, well, when I have the money, then I'll start helping people. No, I know that's what you were taught, and I'm sorry, I was taught Pluto was a planet, and it's not. I was taught that tracks were bad for us. But then I found out, well, the sugar companies hired scientists to do a research study blaming fat for all the problems in the world. That we're supposed to have these fats. Okay, so some people just gave us wrong information. We don't have to blame them for teaching us the wrong thing, but we do have to understand we were taught wrong information. Pluto's not a planet. Sorry. And money doesn't come before helping people. Helping people comes before the money.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to actually enjoy your money.
Yeah.
So we brought together all these teachers, all these speakers to share their journeys. They're all a little different. They're all different. And, here's what I say. I did a lot of interviews for this. I learned, by the way, and I've been teaching this for years. I learned a ton. Let me just say, I learned a ton. And if you join, and the link is on the screen here, right? selflovesummit.com. And it's free. If you pick one, they all give tips on what they do daily, right? If you do one thing, your life begins to transform. You don't have to do everything, right? Everyone has their tips. You don't have to do everything all at once. That's overwhelming. And then we start beating ourselves up. Pick one thing, maybe two things, and start applying it to your life. And your life begins to transform, right? We have Shell Hamilton. Wow. She's amazing. She has a podcast, and it's not one of the top 1% podcasts in the world. It's one of the top 0.05 podcasts in the world. And she shares mindfulness, like these little spurts, 10 minutes of mindfulness every day. And she's sharing her wisdom, right? From what she does. I think her podcasts are daily, or at least almost daily if they're not daily. And she's sharing like her top, what she does every day, the good ones, and the difficult ones, because we all have difficult days. So, the summit is, how do we create community, and how do we get the wisdom of the people who have gone through this journey, who started here but have gotten to the other side of it, to share their wisdom so that we can all learn and grow. Because I thought success was all about climbing that ladder. Right? I was in Hollywood, right? And okay, so you're a producer, and then you're a supervising producer, and then you're executive producer, and okay, how much money is in the bank, and how close to the beach can I live, and all that kind of stuff. And I was there. I was climbing that ladder. I was making more money. I was moving closer to the beach. And I'm going, what's wrong? We all go through this journey. I never had a really difficult illness. I had a surgery, which was kind of crazy. So, but I was never truly in fear of my life. Some people have gone through those journeys. I just had horrible stories in my head. I was telling myself I wasn't good enough. Some people came from great poverty. Everyone has their own story. And I find it's really helpful to hear people from all these different backgrounds and all these different journeys. And to be clear, using even different tools. They don't all use the same tools that I use, although there are similarities. But finding their way to the other side, and this understanding that if we are going to really have great relationships with other people, if we're going to have a great life, if we're going to have a great business, we need self-compassion to go along with that. So I truly hope you guys will join us for that. And Donna Lynn, I'm so grateful for the interview we did together. Like, wow, it was really powerful. And I'm so grateful that you're a part of this summit.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. I just think it's incredible work, and I think it's really important that it get out to the world. And I really appreciate you coming here and talking to us about it today. And I, of course, want to encourage everybody to go right now. Hurry up, switch screens. We don't care. It's fine. Selflovesummit.com. You can listen to the rest of our interview later.
Yeah, just go sign up for it. There's so much peace there.
29 speakers, 29. I mean, when are you going to get that? And it's
free. It's free.
Right,
free.
Right. Nobody gives that away. It's so great. So Thank you again for being here, Jonathan. I really appreciate you taking the time and helping me with this moment of spreading how love really, really, really changes your life. Really beautiful. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, Donalyn. I'm so happy to be here with you.
Yeah. All right, we'll see you guys next time.